Hi there, students. To joust. I think it's normally a verb, but it could be a joust as a noun as well. Okay, in the medieval times where the knights, they used to have competitions where they would dress up in all of their armour and they'd get on their horse and they'd get a lance, a big long lance, and then they would charge at each other. And this is a joust, and they would try to knock each other off their horse and to beat them. Okay, was normally two knights on horseback. This is something that went on in the Middle Ages, from about the 11th century onwards. Okay, so it was like practicing warfare. It was like a duel between the two knights. And then perhaps when one of them was knocked off his horse, or when they were both knocked off their horse, they would fight each other. And I think later on with these jousts, if you won the joust, you got to keep the armour and the horses of the person you beat. Well, jousting's now not very common. You might see it a reenactment at a castle. But we use this verb to joust, meaning to compete with somebody, to fight with somebody. So, for example, the lawyers were jousting in the courtroom. It's sort of like a sword fight, or a fight between the two of them. Or perhaps when there are political speeches, or for example, before an election, you might have the hustings, where each of the candidates gives a speech, and then they discuss or answer questions, and the politicians are jousting. It's like they're fighting with each other. They're competing for superiority. They're competing to be top. And I guess a joust, a competition. So there's always a lot of political jousting going on. People are manoeuvring for position. Or at work, the different workers are jousting for the possibility of getting their boss's job, and this is the idea of to joust. So you could have jousts between different organizations. They're competing to see who is better. As I said, the lawyers jousting in the courtroom, or perhaps the Amazon and HBO and other television channels jousting for the control of the market, or perhaps, I don't know, Twitter and Facebook jousting for position. So to fight, to contend. Let's see. I often have meetings with the regulators, and there are quite often jousts between myself and the regulator. So a joust is like a tournament, or a competition, and I would use to joust, meaning to compete with someone, to struggle with someone for a position. So the minister was often jousting with his secretary, or maybe two teams, Manchester United and Liverpool, jousting for the lead in the championship. Jousting for a position in a company. Okay, so to joust, it's talking about struggling with someone, competing with someone for something, and that's the idea, to joust with someone. Okay, formality to joust. I think I'm going to give it a 6 in formality, but use it anywhere. I think you could use this informally, semi-formally, and formally. And then as to origin, it comes from Old French jouster, jouster, from Latin juxta, close to, vulgar Latin juxto. So to joust, yeah, the different television channels jousting for market superiority, oil companies jousting for position, politicians jousting for a seat in the Houses of Parliament. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Joust.